Colombia cancels university-wide commencement ceremony after weeks of protest on campus. And this led to Mayor Adams responding. And, Rob, I think you have videos of this. If you want to first, they decide to replace his university-wide commencement ceremony on May 15 with a smaller scale of school-based celebration after consultations with other student leaders and due to security concerns, emphasizing the importance of these celebrations to students and families. Pro-Palestinian protests started April 17, culminated in the occupation of Hamilton Hall on April 30th, leading to over 100 arrests. University President Shafiq, in a letter to NYPD requesting assistance, stated the occupation left us no choice. This is Mayor Adams responding to it. Go ahead, Rob.
There's several graduations scheduled in New York City over the rest of this month. Are they going to be able to happen in person and peacefully?
I believe they should. It's a wonderful experience to graduate from an institution, and I don't think we should allow anything to get in our normal way of life. We will do our job, and if the institutions decide to graduate their students and celebrate a beautiful experience with their families, we will make sure it's done in a...
Is that it? Okay, we'll make sure it's done in a probably respectful and safe manner. Okay, Chris, thoughts on what's going on with all these universities?
It is a very, very obvious and egregious capitulation to the wrong people at the wrong time for the wrong reasons. And forget about the fact that a lot of these kids had their graduations taken from them in high school because of COVID.
Yep.
So now it's happening to them again, and again, it's for bad reason. And you absolutely should not be doing what the campuses are doing. You should absolutely not be caving to protest. Embrace the protest and have your commencement. Adams has the right position, but this is a layup for him because he's not in charge of protecting the graduations. Yeah. So there's no downside for him. My criticism would be you should apply the same mentality to prosecuting crimes in your city. And if you care so much about doing the right thing to support the way of life that matters, then you should be prosecuting a lot of crimes in your city that you're not right now.
Bingo.
And that's what he is responsible for. The campuses are a layup for him.
Yeah, I mean, mind you, how much negative crap has happened to New York just this past year? If you think about it, from the sanctuary city to the border to crime to migrants punching cops in the face, walking out, flipping off the bird to everybody. This is just another problem that just keeps happening. Did you hear, PBD, what Governor Hochul said? So Governor Hochul was speaking at the Clinton Global Initiative.
Do you have the video?
Yeah. God knows what. We all know what their initiatives are. She basically gave a green light to the activists who can lead a nationwide movement to protest the college campuses, forcing companies to divert from causes they don't agree with. Play that one.
I learned as a young activist on my college campus the power of when you can use voices to get businesses to change their policies, great things can happen. And I'm referring to, and I'm this old, we were fighting apartheid back in the 70s. And I, as head of student government and representative of the Board of Trustees, we decided that our university should no longer be investing in companies that are doing business in South Africa because you're supporting apartheid. It was a nationwide movement starting on college campuses. When we got our universities to feel the shame to divest their holdings, all of a sudden it started collapsing. They began pulling out of South Africa. That's how a few committed people, activists, can make a difference.
That's what she's basically telling them.
What's the other clip you were talking about?
So there's one more. So this is all happening under this, and now this is at the global conference. She says, and I'm not. This is not a fake clip. She says black kids in New York, young black kids are too dumb to know what a computer is.
There's no way she said that.
What? Rob, please play this.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world to open up to all of them.
Too dumb.
Because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges.
If you're saying that young...
too dumb, though. She says they just don't know what a computer is.
No, what the word computer means. That means that they're dumb.
I know. That's your interpretation. But she didn't use those words.
I get the word dumb.
Yeah.
I'll be quick. You know where I stand on this. The Palestine situation is the new BLM from 4 years ago. Where's BLM now? Fraud, out of business, not even a thing. Not the mantra the actual organization. And who's funding all this? We basically have seen it tied to left-wing dark money and George Soros. We know that. Number two, this left-wing, progressive, intersectional decolonialization, woke, indoctrinated college kids. I can go on and on and on. Their 4 years of college, we're talking about graduation, started with COVID. They've been zooming into class and being woken by professors 4 years later, and they're the ones that have ruined this for their college kids.
Yeah.
Last thing, shout out to Eric Adams, because we gave him a highlight last week about respecting the American flag. Basic values. It's shocking that the America's mayor, New York City, has to take a stand on respecting the flag. Columbia is the tip of the spear. It's not just Columbia, it's Cornell, it's Harvard, it's UCLA, it's Emory, it's Texas. But Columbia is the tip of the spear. And you know what I found interesting? While this whole Gays for Gaza brigade is going on, there were actually kids holding up the American flag, pride in America, because they realize what's happening with these organizations is they are fundamentally anti-American. This isn't protesting against a war and sending up. These kids that are protesting are actually anti-American. They've been indoctrinated to hate America. They feel like they are the oppressors, white guilt, white shame. And they went and they asked these kids, hey, are you even Jewish? They're like, nah, we're just dudes from New York that love America.
Tom.
That's where we're at.
This weekend, the tide was turning. The tide was turning on this, and you could see it. At the University of Alabama, a small group comes, a reasonable-sized group, with the police there. They had their permit, apparently, to demonstrate, and they were pro-Palestine, chanting and everything. An even larger group right across the quad there at the University of Alabama, and starts playing the Star Spangled Banner, singing the Star Spangled Banner, and waving American flags, and then started chanting FJB. The protesters, outnumbered, if you saw this, and there's a very funny clip that's on X, suddenly also started chanting FJB. And they were going back and forth with each other, like the protesters decided, option one, get my butts kicked here. Maybe I don't want to do this. And then you go to the University of Virginia. So I thought that was a sign the tide was turning, and there were students on campus saying, we're not going to take it. We're going to counter-protest right in front of you here patriotically. University of Virginia, hey, we're going to protest. And they sent demands to school. School said, what are your demands? You have a permit to protest here, free speech, make your case, have your demonstration, do all this, do it peacefully. And then they said, well, if you don't meet our demands, we're going to set up camps. You start putting stakes in the ground and putting tents here and make this place like Colombia, and we're going to sweep you all out of here. Good. And that's exactly what they did. And then apparently started throwing things at the cops, and you see the tear gas. The law. The tear gas came out. And yesterday, the cherry on top of the cupcake yesterday, Harvard and MIT. Remember them in 2 months ago in Congress? Sure. The interim president at Harvard says, this is Bloomberg reporting, this isn't X, this isn't Fringe, this isn't Radar Online making things up. This is Bloomberg reporting. Harvard says, all right, you've made your points, but if you don't clean this up and move all this off campus, there will be punishment. I'm putting an ultimatum here. There it is. Harvard and MIT threaten punishment for protesters, an ultimatum. You've made your point. It's time to go home.
And just remember who's not showing their face at these protests. Vinny said it. COVID's not a thing anymore. Stop it, guys. They don't want to be seen because they don't want accountability. 2
clips and we'll wrap up. Hang on. This is one clip that, Vinny, you sent that eventually both sides start chanting the same thing.
A common ground. Think about it. They both hate each other, but they found common ground by saying F Joe Biden. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Look
at Joe Biden bringing people together.
Look now.
Unified.
Look, now they love each other.
Wow.
Look at unified.
But listen to the side of the crowd. One side is bigger and deeper. You hear that?
Yeah. No, it's what did
the
Trump
gays
say about
for Gaza and the pro-American.
Can you play this clip by Trump, and then we'll wrap this up. Go ahead, Rob.
Donald Trump outside the courthouse yesterday, where he accuses Biden donors of paying paid ads.
Bingo.
Now, it just came out, Colombia just canceled their commencement. Axios. Colombia just canceled their commencement. That shouldn't happen. And it also came out that the protesters, many of the protesters, are backed by Biden's donors. Okay? Are you listening, Israel? I hope you're listening, Israel. Hope you're getting smart. But they're backed by Biden donors. That's where the money's coming from. And I'm not surprised at all. There's many other articles, many of them having to do with the gag order and the unconstitutionality.
There you go. Bingo. Hey. This is Like he said, Chris said something very interesting today. You know, typically he says a month out, I could predict that Trump was going to win against Hillary, right? He says now, forget about the October surprise. It could be a November surprise. I mean, this thing could go to the very last second until decision's made. I want to go to our sponsor because Monect is on fire. And let me give you guys some statistic here. It's very, very important, guys, for you to know this. Guy sends me a message today. I won't give you his name, but I'll tell you the question he asked me. Hey, Patrick, life-changing content, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, I've become burned out with my life. I'm a structural engineer. I'm starting to have panic attacks and constant anxiety. And I'm thinking about going across country and living abroad. I don't want to live in America right now. And he's sending me a message. Guy does very well for himself. Makes a few $100,000 a year. Doesn't know who to get in contact with. Sometimes these types of questions you can't ask your relatives, you can't ask your family, you can't ask your siblings because they're going to sit there and say, wait, you're going through tough times? Do you know a cold response, Vinny, on email, what percentage of cold email you send to somebody, what percentage of the time people respond? 1%. Do you know on Instagram, it's 3%. Twitter is 3 to 5%. LinkedIn is 8 to 12%. You know what a cold response on Monect is right now? 91%. And you know what's even better than the 91%? Over 50% of the time, you will get the answer to your question within 24 hours. Why is that important? Because anybody that I want to get a hold of, I don't have a problem saying, hey, man, I value your time. Here's $200. What do you think about this? I'm thinking about raising money on this. Hey, here's $50. I'm going through this issue right now. What do you think about this? Hey, I'm trying to raise some money. What are some 5 things you can tell me about doing this? Hey, my wife and I are going through some challenges. Hey, we're trying to put our kids into private school. What do you think about this? Hey, I'm thinking about leaving my job to start a business. What do you think about this? Monect has become the top networking app where people get back to you promptly. And the reason why they do is because you show respect for their time by simply saying, hey, I'm willing to pay for a speedy response. By the way, go ahead and Monect Cuomo on anything he said today you disagree with. Go to Monect him. Ask him a question. See what kind of answers he gets. The audience loves Cuomo's answers. That's his QR code. Go to his QR code. Ask him a question. Go have a conversation with Vinny or Adam or Sauce and see what kind of response they're giving you. By the way, on top of that, Tulsi Gabbard just crossed 100 Monects.
Awesome.
And she's responding on Monects. We even ran a contest right now with Monect that we're going to be having dinner together here in South Florida at Casa D'Angelo. And then afterwards, we're going to go to the cigar lounge. And here's what the Leaders Bulletin right now looks like. All you have to do is go to Monect.com. Rob, if you can go to Monect.com, click on the logo, Rob. There you go. You go to Monect.com on the top left, click on the Leaders Bulletin. Then when you go there, you can see the video to explain the contest. But if you go below, there's different categories. That's the lightweight right now. At the top is Tulsi. Then it's Brandon Davis. Then it's, I can't read it if you can zoom in. What's that name? Santino Testani, okay, at third place. Wow, look at Joanne Gavilan is right behind Santino, 73, and then Gary Wood, 66. Then go to the middleweight, Rob, if you want to go to the middleweight. Middleweight, we have Fernando still at the top with 69. Then you got Parsa, he's about to pass him up, 68. Then you got Michael Mara and Tomo, the rest of the camp. Then if you can go on the right, Rob, you're even there. Is that Rob Gargoyle? You have the 10th spot.
The 10th spot middleweight.
Rob is getting Monect. Freaking sick. All right, so then we have the heavyweights.
Krishan.
Dustin, boom, 204. Calvin G, 109. Chris, 59. Krishan, 48. Then Dennis, Ben Pappas, Aaron Mon. And then we got Sapula, or Mario. And I go to home team. Vinny's just dominating everybody. 497, 304, 252. Adam's one away from 100, 99. Then go to the bottom for people asking the most questions. You got Eddie he's asking 90. This is a brand new person using Monect. 93 questions. Terry Hall, 92. Manuel Lopez, 88. Eric, 76 questions being asked. And then go to the right. People that have been on Monect before. Dustin's asked 229. Wow, Sarujan got 290, Ozzy 197, and then you got the rest of the folks. So go use the app, start Monecting today, get the answer to your questions. I've learned from a long time ago at 23, 24, 25 years old, I am willing to pay to get the answers now because the right answer to a question I have today, not 6 months from now, not a year from now, not 2 years from now, from the right qualified person can change my life and save me years of headaches. Anyways, download the app, start Monecting today.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.